Welcome to our KPC Daily Devotional. We've been reading the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. These are written as letters from a middle management devil in the bureaucracy of hell to his nephew, a junior tempter in the field, about how to manage their patient, a young man who has become a Christian, in order to make his Christian life and faith ineffective. Today we are looking at letter 22, and Wormwood's patient is at last in love, and the woman is the absolute worst kind as far as the devils are concerned. She's sweet but tough and a firm believer in God. Screwtape fumes how God has created pleasure and fills the world with pleasures that humans are free to enjoy. How God reveals none of the self-important austerity and seriousness of hell. The devils have to twist everything to distort it into something that they can use. Lewis notes how the homes of saints can even acquire the odor of holiness. Even the pets are tainted with it, as a place of love and consideration and joy that rubs off on everyone who is there and everyone who enters. A place of light and music, that is, everything the devils detest. Hell, on the other hand, is a place of noise. A noise, as Screwtape calls it, ruthless and virile. The Screwtape Letters, letter 22. My dear Wormwood, so your man is in love, and in the worst kind he could possibly have fallen into, and with a girl who does not even appear in the report you sent me. You may be interested to learn the little misunderstanding with the secret police which you tried to raise about some unguarded expressions in one of my letters has been tidied over. If you were reckoning on that to secure my good offices, you will find yourself mistaken. You shall pay for that as well as for your other blunders. Meanwhile, I enclose a little booklet just issued on the new House of Correction for Incompetent Tempters. It is profusely illustrated, and you will not find a dull page in it. I have looked up this girl's dossier and am horrified at what I find. Not only a Christian, but such a Christian, a vile, sneaking, simpering, demure, monosyllabic, mouse-like, watery, insignificant, virginal bread and butter miss. The little brute! She makes me vomit. She stinks and scalds through the very pages of the dossier. Drives me mad the way the world has worsened. We'd have had her to the arena in the old days. That's what her sort is made for. Not that she'd do much good there either. A two-faced little cheat, I know the sort, who looks as if she'd faint at the sight of blood and then dies with a smile. A cheat every way. Looks as if butter wouldn't melt in her mouth and yet has a satirical wit. The sort of creature who'd find me funny. Filthy, insipid little prude, and yet ready to fall into this booby's arms like any other breeding animal. Why doesn't the enemy blast her for it if he's so moonstruck by virginity, instead of looking on there, grinning? He's a hedonist at heart. All those fasts and vigils and stakes and crosses are only a facade, or only like foam on the seashore. Out at sea, out in his sea, there's pleasure and more pleasure. He makes no secret of it. At his right hand are pleasures for evermore. Ugh! I don't think he has the least inkling of that high and austere mystery to which we rise in the misophoric vision. He's vulgar, Wormwood. He has a bourgeois mind. He's filled his world full of pleasures. There are things for humans to do all day long without his minding in the least. Sleeping, washing, eating, drinking, making love, playing, praying, working. Everything has to be twisted before it's any use to us. We fight under cruel disadvantages. Nothing is naturally on our side. Not that that excuses you. I'll settle with you presently. You've always hated me and been insolent when you dared. Then, of course, he gets to meet this woman's family and the whole circle. Could you not see that the very house she lives in is one he ought never to have entered? The whole place reeks of that deadly odor. The very gardener, though he's been there only 5 years, is beginning to acquire it. Even guests after a weekend visit carry some of the smell away with them. The dog and the cat are tainted with it, and a house full of the impenetrable mystery. Now, we're certain, it's a matter of first principles, that each member of the family must in some way be making capital out of the others, but we can't find out how. They guard as jealously as the enemy himself the secret of what really lies behind this pretense of disinterested love. The whole house and garden are one vast obscenity. It bears a sickening resemblance to the description one human writer made of heaven, the regions where there is only life, and therefore all that is not music is silence. Music and silence. Ah, how I detest them both. How thankful we should be that ever since our Father below entered hell, though longer ago than humans, reckoning in light years, could express, no square inch of infernal space and no moment of infernal time has been surrendered to either of those abominable forces, music or silence, but all has been occupied by noise. Noise, the grand dynamism, the audible expression of all that is exultant, ruthless, and virile. Noise which alone defends us from silly qualms, despairing scruples, and impossible desires. We will make the whole universe a noise in the end. We've already made great strides in this direction as regards the earth. The melodies and silences of heaven will be shouted down in the end, but I admit we're not yet loud enough or anything like it. Research is in progress. Meanwhile, you disgusting little... Here the manuscript breaks off and is resumed in a different hand. In the heat of composition, I find that I have inadvertently allowed myself to assume the form of a large centipede. I am accordingly dictating the rest to my secretary. Now that the transformation is complete, I recognize it as a periodical phenomenon. Some rumor of it has reached the humans, and a distorted account of it appears in the poet Milton, with the ridiculous addition that such changes of shape are a quote-unquote punishment imposed on us by the enemy. A more modern writer, someone with a name like Shaw, has, however, grasped the truth that transformation proceeds from within and is a glorious manifestation of that life force which our Father below would worship if he worshipped anything but himself. In my present form, I feel even more anxious to see you, to unite you to myself in an indissoluble embrace. Signed, Toadpipe, 4. His abysmal sublimity undersecretary, Screwtape, TEBS, etc. I wish you a good day. Goodbye.